Last week, the Gratton Cup Series headed back out west to the Las Vegas Motor Speedway, and a late race caution saved Dawson Miller a little bit as he was able to recover some of his championship lead after running outside the top 25 for much of the day. He finished 15th, Henrik Waugh finished 3rd, and Benny Watson came from behind to win his 3rd race of the season. And now the championship battle, 30 points heading into the last 9 races of the season. Tonight, we are at the Auto Club Speedway in Fontana, California for a 50-lap race around the now defunct, unfortunately, Auto Club Speedway. This is the Auto Club 400, the 22nd race here at the Gratton Cup Series for Season 6. Hello everyone, and welcome back to the Gratton Cup Series, Season number 6, Race number 22, the Auto Club 400 here, Fontana, California, the Auto Club Speedway, the unfortunately now defunct Auto Club Speedway, but we do still have it here in NR2003, and that's fantastic. We're under the lights as part of our second race here out west, and got ourselves a very interesting championship battle. Kind of got turned around a little bit last week in that Dawson Miller looked like for a long time he was going to drop a bucket load of points, but he rebounded, finished 15th. Still lost 12 points to Henrik Waugh, and those two, of course, have been the top two the entire season. It's only a 30-point difference. Bit of a yo-yo in terms of the championship battle. And once again, ebbed and flowed in qualifying. You've got Dawson Miller starting 8th in this race, and Henrik Waugh starting 27th. So a lot of work for the 71 to do if he wants to continue to make ground in this championship battle, because after tonight, we've only got 8 races left in this 6th season. I'm joined by Nathan Stapleton, the owner of NS Racing. He'd be pretty happy with the front row in this race, Nathan. Welcome back to the booth, and how are you feeling at the moment? You've got 2 cars right up in on the front row. You've got Bright in 7th, and you've got Travis Crampton down in 26th. So what do you guys have to do to get one of your cars to victory lane tonight?
Well, first off, thanks for having me back in the Gratton Cup Series booth. It's been a little bit, but it's great to be here underneath the lights at, honestly, one of my underrated favorite racetracks on another, Auto Club. As you said, glad that it's still preserved on another. But it's going to be a fun race here tonight. I feel like this is going to be a very fun race throughout the 50 laps, and we got to see of how the championship fight might shake out here after tonight with 8 races to go, and we gotta see what these NS Racing cars can do. Obviously, Ben Watson barely got the win last week in Viva Las Vegas, and the cars starting inside the top 10. That's always great to see, and I'm sure Crampton will probably work his way up through the field. But I'm looking forward for this one. Gonna have a lot of pit stops, and hopefully NS Racing car gets back to victory lane again. But it's definitely going to be a fun night underneath the lights at Auto Club.
You mentioned that one pit stop. It'll be kind of like a tightrope in that regard, because they could go for 2, depending if they can. Well, they may not be able to go the distance, is what I'm trying to say. They may have to go for 2 right at the end, but we'll see how that one plays out, because it's about at 20. It's right at halfway, in theory, the pit cycle. We'll talk about that as the race goes along. We'll take a look at the championship standings. Of course, as you said, after tonight, 8 races left to go. And as I said before, Dawson Miller, 30 points up on Henrik Waugh. They've been the top 2 all year, practically. And then there was a 34-point gap from Waugh to Anthony, who had a very good run last week and looked like for a long time he's going to win that race, but dropped away after the restart and lost an opportunity, but he's 64 points back, still within striking distance if things go awry for the 48, the 71 in front. Noah Clifton's had a good few weeks. Second last time out at Las Vegas. He's 78 points back in the championship. And Alexander Rowe, who won here in Season 5, he starts 5th in this race and is 5th in the championship. He's looking for his 6th win of the year. Kind of continue on his torrid streak that he's had this year, albeit didn't have a great run last week. And then really, those are the 5 guys realistically in contention. Brandon Bent, now the 2 series champions, have passed. Currently 6th and 7th in the championship, but over 100 back. They're over 2 races back. Benny Watson, our last winner, of course, and Polson for this race, 115 back. Eli Bright, 121 back. Jared Oren, inside the top 10 now in the championship for the first time this year, 127 back. He's been in very good form. Starts on the outside of the front row for this one. So realistically, it probably comes down to the top 5 with 9 races left to go, including this one tonight. But here's a little fun fact. Benny Watson on the pole. This is the first time he has won a pole since season 1 at Indianapolis, before the custom cars, when he was driving for BK Racing. It's over 125 races ago. It's been a long time since he's been on the pole, but he'll lead the field to green tonight. He's joined by Jared Oren, his teammate on the front row in the number 99. Let's see how he can go, looking for his first win since season 4 at Dover. Brayton Perez, once again, starts up in a very strong position. Had a great run last week at Las Vegas. He's alongside Ken Rowley, who got his first top 5 in a long time last week as well. Alexander Rose starts from 5th, the reigning race winner here, alongside Colin Denton in the number 21. Eli Bright from 7th, alongside our championship leader, the 48 of Dawson Miller, looking to regain that margin back over Henry Gore. 30 points up on the 71. He starts from 8th to 9th, alongside, behind them, I should say. Caleb Rose from 9th, alongside Noah Clifton, 2nd last week, 4th in the points. They ran out the top 10. Logan Williams in the 33s, alongside Jake Rogers in the number 40. They mark up row 6. Nathan Smith and Dominic Anthony. Anthony 3rd in the championship coming into this race. He would like to make some ground, of course, in this title fight as well. Thomas Troxell back in the bright green machine, alongside Kelly Lee in the 76. Rogel Dawn and Brandon Bent make up row 9, and rounding out the top 20, Leonard Koshma and the number 8 of Matthew Hubert. So there's your top 20. You'll see the rest of the starting lineup on the left side of your screen. You've got the cars firing up right now with thanks to Budget Car Track Rental. And so, Nathan, I'll hand it over to you. Who do you think is going to go to victory lane here at the Auto Club Speedway?
Oh boy. Well, I am liking my chances here. I think we might see maybe a little bit of a surprise, depending on who I pick here. I'm going to go with that wing machine. We call it outside the wing machine. I think the Dawson Miller needs a good one for the championship here, and I think he's going to get the job done in that wing machine. And if he wins here, it might not be good for him to go Dominic Anthony and Noah Clifton and Alexander Lowe.
Definitely, it would be well, it would quite be a hammer blow in terms of the championship, but it would set him up very, very nicely for the back end of the season. Of course, 3 wins early on in the year, has not won since Martinsville back in race 11, but has been very consistent. So he will be one to watch tonight, you'd imagine, for Nicotech. And as I said, 50-lap race. It'll be 100 miles in length, and depending on, I suppose, the first run, we'll get a better indication of the fuel and how much they can, how far they can go. But you'd imagine, in theory, should be a 1-stop, but it may well end up being 2. And if it is 2, that will be very interesting to see, because they would have to pit probably with about 2 or so laps to go. The pace car's on pit road. Here we go. The 22nd race of the season here at the Auto Club Speedway. Green flags in the air, and we are underway in the Auto Club 400. And here we go to complete the first lap. Flyby once again. And Brayton Perez in the 92 got out to the fast start. Great jump off the line, and for the second race running, he gets a lap lead early on here at the Auto Club Speedway. Must be something. Oh, cars on the wall. I think that was Rogers. It is. And Dominic Anthony, 3rd in the points. Also caught up. And that didn't take long at all. First caution of the night, and that is a bad, bad break for Dominic Anthony. 3rd in the championship. And he looks like he's got left side damage on the Napa Chevy. Tough break for him. Racing it back to the line. And it'll be Brayton Perez. Must be something about Pacific Racing being on the Pacific Coast, because he's the race leader across the line, with Watson 2nd, Alexander Rowe 3rd, Benny Watson 4th, and Logan Williams 5th. So that is a terrible break for 2 of the long-standing drivers in this series. Rogers in the outside wall, and Anthony with him. And that is a terrible break for the driver, the number 39, and that may well cost him a lot of points in this championship battle. But Brain Perez, the race leader, we'll see if they come down now for this first round of pit stops, and it looks like they will, Nathan.
It looks like they will, and we won't have to worry about them not making it, because I believe they will have to still make another pit stop here. But how about that 92 of Brain Perez? He is saying, hey, we're on the Pacific Coast, Nathan. Why did you not pick a Pacific racing car? Well, he made it through July already and took the race really early on, and we gotta see if he can win the race off of pit lane here. But a very interesting start here to the Auto Club 400.
He kind of caught the 96 napping, didn't he? Jumped off to the inside. 96 probably didn't get the best start in the world, and that may have played a part into it. They're all sorting themselves out back here. Luckily, no incidents as they were getting back to getting themselves sorted. We'll follow here with the 96. That's not a great angle, is it? There we go. That's a bit better. Now he's taking fuel only. Some of these guys are taking tyres. So interesting strategy. Thomas Troxel as well. Looks like he took fuel only. Maybe Kelly Lee. And even out of those guys that took tyres, it looks like Oren jumped out ahead of Perez and Rose. So given that we're only on lap 4 now, I want to say, yep. A bit of contrasting strategy. And Benny Watson, who started the pole, finds his way back to the front with a bit of strategy here. So, first caution of the night. Didn't take that long. Let's take a look at what happened to trigger the first yellow. Well, as they want to do here at Auto Club, they're fanning out. 3, 4 wide. Sometimes they can go 5 wide, but a lot of 4 wide here. And Jake Rogers, I'm not sure why. He squeezes Dominic Anthony up on the outside. They make contact, and eventually they just squeeze each other into the wall. I'm not sure with it's not like Rogers had anyone particularly close on the left rear, so I'm not sure what the reason for that was, but he ends up in the wall. That's a setback for him, and of course that's a massive setback for this guy, Dominic Anthony, who came into this race third in the championship, 64 back. His best chance probably at winning a championship to date, and is now at the back of the field, or at least he was prior to pit stops. I'm not sure where he's come out in that regard, but that's a really tough break for cars 39 and 40.
Full speed here, and this is kind of odd. We got the 40 of Zach Rogers, who kind of had another calling for 2 to the inside, and just got shoved into the 39. So, very unfortunate. Definitely could have been a 40. Early on in the All Club 400, but that's how it goes. This is why we see a lot of these squeeze effects type instances early on. They're double wide and they fan out to 3, 4, sometimes 5 wide. But that instance, they were 4 wide, and there was a conflict or 2 that we could have avoided it. But tough break for the 39 and 40.
It's like he was trying to clear himself. Maybe he thought he was clear. That was unusual for someone of Jake Rogers' caliber for that to do that. But anyways, pit stops and pit strategy puts Benny Watson out in front. So let's take you back to the green. First restart of the night coming up. Coming back to the green next time by here at Auto Club. And Benny Watson, the race leader, with Thomas Troxel second, Kelly Lee in third. So these 3 seemingly took fuel only. Will they have an impact? We'll find out here on this run. Jared Oren is 4th, and Alexander Rowe 5th, Brain Perez 6th, Logan Williams 7th, Eli Bright, Nathan Smith, Tyson Gifford rounding out the top 10. And unfortunately for Jake Rogers, and especially for Dominic Anthony in this championship battle, sent to the back of the field after that first yellow. But the good news for both of them, it doesn't look like, certainly Rogers and Anthony, it doesn't look like they have severe damage. And they could be able to make their way through still, but it's a hard ask here at Auto Club, because there are times where it's not the easiest place to make overtakes. So, especially with how high speed it can be down the straights, and so that may have an impact. But every car is still on the racetrack, which is good. We still got all 42, and I'm glad this week we got a yellow for an actual incident and not just some random phantom yellow like we had last week at Vegas. But here we go. Watson, Troxel, Lee, Oren, and Rowe the top 5. as we go back to racing here at Auto Club.
Great jump from Watson, and you gotta see if another Pacific car jumps Watson again. At the start, it was Julian Perez, and ironically, this time it is Tom's Troxel. Troxel dragging to the inside. Watson brought in that very highlighted green machine. And we gotta see how this all plays out on lap 7 of 50. These guys will probably have to make another pit stop past halfway. Don't have to worry about them being short on fuel or not, but you gotta see how this all plays out with these guys up front taking fuel only, and then everyone else taking at least 2 and probably 4 tires as well.
Kelly Lee on the move on the inside, and this is PRM's home race. Team owner Cesar Chavez is a Los Angeles native, so he'll be hoping to see this car do pretty well. It's disappointed to find out this track's not coming back for next season. But he's got Kelly Lee doing a good job here early stages on the inside. He's got to shut the door here on Rowe, who's peeking to the inside. Trussell slots in behind. It was challenged for second, but you saw that get a lot of draft off the cars in front and carry a lot of momentum down the front straight. And Oren uses the outside to his advantage. He gets around Lee. Here comes the 76 on the... trying to hold off Alexander Rowe on that inside. You've got Perez back in there as well. It's a home race for him as well in the 92, and Lee gets clear. You got Bright back in there pushing the 51 as well, as now here comes the 99. So trying to repeat what the front row was early stages in this race. And Oren's going to get past. You see Logan Williams getting shoved 3 wide on the outside. The Culver's dodge, rally in the middle, and Christian Vargas back in there, the 36 on the inside, and Williams is actually going to clear those guys on the outside. And in terms of our championship contenders, the top 2 in the points are right by each other. So even though there was a 19 position difference in the starting lineup, Dawson Miller and Henry Gore have somehow ended up pretty close to one another. And these guys at the moment are, in and about the top 20. But Miller's on the inside, Gore's on the outside, not really where the 71 wants to be, as... tell you what, Jared Owen looks pretty racy here in this one. He's going to have a look to the inside of Watson for the lead.
And I believe that is those flusher tires. The top 3, the 96, 62, and the 76, all only, and the 99 is the first one on flush tires, and definitely making a point that even though it's only a couple laps in, tires are going to matter. And a great one from the 99 team, as he will probably take the race lead with those flush tires. But Local Williams, he's always good with these series, and I almost picked him here tonight. I almost did. So, see if me almost picking him ends up jinxing him or not. But a strong one early on for that Culver's machine. And eventually, I think these newer tires will win out. But right now, it's only the 99 up front on those fresh tires. That's just wide in the back. Crazy stuff. Love this Auto Club Speedway. And how about this? Maybe I'm on tires to it. But now Watson's going to switch back to the inside on his team.
Got a good run off the high side. A little bit of a push maybe from Troxel. And he's able to get back alongside his teammates. A good battle between these guys for the lead. And Watson's going to carry that momentum down the front and lead that lap. How about Troxel? He's going to use the draft to his advantage. You got Rowe peeking around on the outside. Back in there, you got 4 wide. You got Max Davis. The DeWalt Toyota making it 4 wide on the inside. Caleb Rose in the 32 gets shuffled way out. And the Tillamook Toyota, he gets shoved way out of the groove. And so Watson does clear out in front, ahead of Oren, then Troxel. How about Tyson Gifford in this race? He has a streak going at the moment. He's had each of the last 4 races finished outside the top 30. And it's been a tough few weeks for him. 27th in points. Here he is doing a very nice job. Currently 6th at the moment. But it's his driver at the moment, Alexander Rowe, who wants to get a 6th win of the season. He just got around Truxel on the outside and now he's going to set sail for the 2 guys in front. There's 2 NS Racing Fords, although Truxel wants to get back at him. There's Gifford, Lee. Bright's going to get clear here at Vargas. You saw Perez up there earlier trying to work his way back, and going to be on that outside of Christian Vargas. So you've got Gifford now on the inside of Truxel in a battle for the 4th position. So 62 struggling a bit here as we get further into this run. And look at Vargas go 3 wide. Bright shuffle to the middle. I don't know if it's going to work up at 36 as Oren had a little look to the inside, but thinks better of it.
And tell you what, I think these racing cars, they realize of who's behind them right now. That's Alexander Lowe, and like you mentioned, he has won a boatload of races this season, already 5, and he is still in championship contention, and he wants win number 6 this time underneath the lights of Auto Club, and he might just do that side by side maybe, but it's going to be hard with the two NS racing cars wrapping off each other. You mentioned Tyson Gifford with that bad streak here. He goes to the side of his other car, and the owner is saying, hey, I know we're going for a championship here, but I'm going to try and snap my streak and maybe get a win here tonight, as he's going to go side by side with his rival. Cannot count that bright 62 was. That's going to be 3 wide for third Bailey. Doing 3 and 4 great stuff here early on at Auto Club.
Here comes Vargas on the inside as well. You had the bright yellow car, the bright green car going head to head there. That was a disaster in terms of a palette, to be honest. Maybe more so the 62, but that's very green. You got Gifford back on the inside. How about Bright now working his way up into the top 5? The 95 might have a chance here in this one. How about Julio Cesar here in the 26? He's working his way forward and is the highest Nicotech car at the moment. In the 26, he's had a tough year as well. Certainly for his lofty standards. Look at this, Orange all over the back of Watson. And he's going to have a little look to the inside, but that might leave him vulnerable here to the 51 of Rowe. You see the shifting of lines going down the front. You see Bright moving way down to the bottom, and here we go. Rowe's going to follow Oren. And look at Eli go 3 wide, or almost 3 wide. Rowe had to back out of it and get in behind Watson as Oren on the inside. He's not quite clear yet, but he does have the ideal position heading off into turn 3. Bright's going to go behind Alexander Rowe with the slotting behind, and Oren's going to get back past the 96. So battle between the two teammates started on the front row of the grid. Still remaining 1 and 2. Watson should be able to use the draft off the 99 in front to clear himself of Rowe. And tell you what, we've still got a lot of racing left to go, and this is a lot of fun here in the early stages. Rowe's going to get back down to the inside underneath of the 96, and he is really pushing the pace here in the, let's say, mid stages of this run. It just has no help behind him, and now you got, the 95's going to come up alongside the 51, maybe try and push Watson clear. Couldn't quite get clear. Rowe forced it in there through turn 3. Going to get the run on the bottom. There's a battle between, well, let's be honest, they're the two best teams at the moment, although Tyson Gifford says, you know what, I'm not going to help you. Even though you're my driver and you're competing for a championship, I'm going to go 3 wide for what will end up being the 3rd position.
My surprise that Tyson Gifford didn't help him, but maybe he helped him in another stint. He got bad 1 and 2, and that's going to allow many drivers to pass him. As shout out to Caesar here in the 26th, and I might get that back as he moves my driver Eli Boy out of the way, but top 3 are breaking away. I'm surprised that Ben Watson is up here still on older tires than what Alexander and the 99 have drawn on is, but top 3 starting to break away, 2-3 wide, and 4th on that. Crazy racing though, as all of these drivers could have a chance to get up there to the top 3 if they can cycle the way up to this pack.
Jeez, I tell you what, Colin Denton nearly put 4 wide there. That was a close one. It's not good for Miller, he's up on the high side. He's trying to make that high side work at the moment. He's just in an awkward spot currently because these guys are battling pretty hard around him, and he's in a good position because even though he's outside the top 10, there he's at 14th. There's the 71, who is way down in 27th. That's where he started the race. So he's dropped back in this run. So for the 48, it's an awkward position to be because look at him. He's right in the middle of all this, and yet the 71 is a lot further back. You just don't want to get yourself caught up in an incident. That's something that the guys, top of the championship, those two guys have been so good at all year, just staying out of trouble. Certainly in comparison to, say, well, these two guys who I think are the two fastest drivers. And look at this,
boy.
3 wide for the lead down the front. Rowe wants to get to the lead as soon as he possibly can. 3 wide on the inside of the 96 and the 99. Who will have the advantage out of turn 2? Look at Julio Cesar watching there as well. The watching brief there, the 26, trying to figure out where do I go? Do I go top? Do I go bottom? Where do I go? And Orange can't quite get clear. Watson got clear of Rowe. Here goes the 96 back down to the inside.
Yeah, I wonder if Julio Cesar was like, the 3 wide, do I make it 4 wide? Luckily they fan it back down to single file and double file, but that massively allowed Cesar to close back in, and the more that these guys race, the more that White is going to close back in, and then one behind him, Tyson Chequered as well. This is just how this racetrack is. It's such a draft racetrack. We're going so fast here. I mean, you gotta have the draft, and if you go 3 wide, that's gonna hurt you. And 3 wide again, Julio Cesar to the inside. Making a 3 wide move for second. But Rowe looks strong. I was saying, Rowe, Julio Cesar, you got drawing on Eli Bright up here. I think these fresher tires are starting to win over Ben Watson on older tires. I'm surprised of how he stood up here with the 62 and 76 dropping. But I mean, interesting here, Stuart. Getting close to halfway, and we might see pit stops here soon.
Yeah, definitely. You'd imagine they'll be pitting, maybe not right now, but certainly imminently. Very, very close to this point. How about Max Davis up here? He wants a second win of the season for Seminole Motors, who good to see Richard Fridge, the team owner of this team. Seems likely that this team will be back. There were questions earlier on in the year whether or not this team would return. It seems likely that they will for Season 7, which is very good news, and I'm very excited. One of the long-time teams in this series, dating back to Season 2. At Bristol was their first ever attempt. Here comes Watson to the inside of Alexander Rowe. He wants to get back up into position, even with those, albeit it was not too much difference in terms of the age of the tyres. It was about 2 green flag laps compared to the guys in front, like the guys around him, Oren and Rowe and company. But still hanging around up there. How about the 52? Charlie Davenport for Hedgehog Motorsports. He's hanging around. He's working his way. Actually, doing more than hanging around. He's working his way in the top 5. As now Watson has another crack to the inside of the 51, and Caesar's right there again. Rowe's going to use the draft off the 99 in front. This is great racing. Orrington get a great run out of 2. He's just kind of, it's almost like Daytona where he's just blocking both lanes at the moment, where he's just blocking wherever he needs to go, although he might be vulnerable now because Rowe got a run to the outsides. Is he going to be able to hang in there? Look at Davenport go way down to the bottom in the 52. Let's see if he can make this one stick. Oren is going to get clear. He got a big shot from Watson. And look at Davenport with a huge run. He's trying to get to second as Rowe goes way up the racetrack.
Rowe from one outside, it was in the weather, but he got out of the weather in that 4th lane, so that's going to hurt him a little bit. Davenport out of nowhere. That's another driver, like, some of these drivers we've seen all night, one up front, but Davenport had a really good long run cut, and here we go. This is going to be a busy, super busy pit lane on lap 28. The leaders are in, 3 out of 4 Lance Racing cars, and several others.
Max Davis, Brandon Bent, Tyson Gifford. There's our championship leader, Dawson Miller. He is in. It's the 71. The 71's also in. So, 2 main contenders in this championship battle in on pit road. Jake Rogers in earlier. Here's a bit of damage. Davenport hits the front here in the 52. Let's see. I imagine he would be pitting now. He's running low as if he is. Same with Rowe. Same with Caesar. Addison Steinbach, Colin Denton. And everybody's going to come in by the looks of it. So, most of the field in here on lap number 29. Max Davis is done in the 6th. Brandon Bent right behind. There's Bright. Oren with a good stop. Oh, not a good stop for Watson. Oh, he's going to lose a bit of ground. Lost a lot of ground there. And he will drop in behind Noah Clifton. And there is the 48 of Dawson Miller. Now, there's Henry Gore. So, there are several cars between those two. Oren gets out in front, but hello to Max Davis in the 6. He's in with a real chance. Now Davenport's done in the 52. Julio Caesar's done. Alexander Rowe's going to take 4 tyres here as well. And it's going to be tight here. I think Davenport's going to win this with the race off pit road here. He will. Gets out ahead. And look at Davis in the background to the inside of Oren on the track. Let's see where the 52 comes out relative. We've got 3 wide coming off of pit road. These are the effective race leaders, and Max Davis is going to try and he's going to take it away here from Jared Oren. Let's see where they come out relative to the 52. Oh, Davenport's going to get out ahead. A good stop for the 52, and the overcut pays dividends.
This is going to be very fascinating of how this all this shakes out, because now we are a little bit put out than what we've been all race long, and see if anyone can catch up with Charlie Davenport. I really like what we got up front right now. We got some strong heavy hitters up here. Alexander Matt Davis, Charlie Davenport, John On has been very strong this year inside the top 10 points. We got Caesar as well. So we got a lot of strong contenders up here. But the interesting part of this is with everyone being separated now, it's not going to be just a big pack. Now you gotta have a good car to work your way up to the field here. There's less than 20 laps to go, and for Davenport, he lets the races for now, but the only downside is that he has 3 cars trying to chase him down, and he lost 2 to 3/10 last lap alone.
Indeed, he lost about 3/10 last lap, so imagine that these 3 guys that are drafting off each other, they may have the advantage, but we'll see. You've got Davis up to 6, up to second in the 6, I should say. But he won at Chicagoland a few weeks ago. Look at Eli Bright go 3 wide, and that was contact between himself and Addison Steinbach. That was close there, and they all keep it together. No harm, no foul, I suppose. But Steinbach's going to lose out. Brandon Bent up here in the 27. But as you know, these 3 drivers actually lost a bit of time last time by. Oren's going to try and run the outsides. He's going to get to the outside of Davis. He will. And he looks very racy here in this 99, although Rowe's going to try and push the 6 down the back into turns 3 and 4. And the more they battle, the more the guys behind will close in. And Rowe is going to push Davis past, and he might have a look to the inside of the 6 himself here in this battle for second. Keep an eye on him, of course. He led the most laps when he won this race back in Season 5. He's won 11 races now in the Cup Series. That is, I think, 4th all-time on the list. All-time race winners. He's done that in 2 seasons. It's extraordinary what he's done. And yet, he's 80 points off the championship lead coming into this race. Extraordinary, to say the least. But he got around to Oren right there. Brandon Bent, the 2-time series champion. Caesar, Bright, Steinbach, Colin Denton with a nice run here in the 21. He's only had the top 10 twice this year. He's 9th, and Gifford 10th. And there is our championship leader. He's 11th. And Henry Waugh is in this massive hodgepodge of cars back in here in the mid-pack. That includes Brain Perez, who was up here earlier on in the race. He was up at the front of the field early on. Got Truxell back in here as well. So some of the heavy hitters up at the front early on have dropped back as this race goes along. But Gwark going to the inside of Crown for a position. He's got to make up a bit of ground here at the back end of this race, you'd imagine. And we have a battle for the lead because Davis is catching Charlie Davenport at a rate of knots.
And you know what? He's not the only one. Honestly, we got Davis rolling on, but we got that 27 back there. But he led another group of cars to those 3 that were already catching up to Davenport. So with 15 to go, we have most likely a 8-car battle in a group here for the race win. And this is going to get good. We cannot count a late race yellow after what Boy almost did to Steinbach there a couple laps ago. But great stuff this time at Auto Club. It's kind of a shame that this is not returning Jeanette Sears Incident 7 of the Gratton Cup Series, but a lot of fun, and it's going to get good now. Well, trying to peek down the inside of Davis, but not going to get there for now. These guys got to figure out what do they want to do. They caught up to Davenport, but now what? Do they try and go to the inside, the outside, or do they just battle for themselves now that they caught up to that 52?
Yep, definitely. It's a good point, and especially, you know, when you get out in clean air. I mean, the only guys who've been really able to make moves as these tyres wear out, I mean, the battle between Oren and Watson were basically it. I mean, nobody else was able to get by those guys when they were in clean air. I mean, it was so hard to pass the 99 earlier on. So, it is a tall order, but it's certainly not impossible. But how about Charlie Davenport? You know, he finished 4th last week at Vegas. He was so quiet in that race. He hovered in the top 15, but really surged late to get to 4th. He's still looking for his first career win, and he is doing a fantastic job in this race. He'd be pretty pleased with that. But Davis looking for his second win. He won at Chicagoland a couple of weeks ago. Of course, Rowe won it. He's won 5 races this year. We keep harping on about it. Look at Bright here to the inside of Julio Cesar. He couldn't quite get to stick on the inside. Julio Cesar had a terrible year for his standards. He won 4 races last year. He hasn't had a great year. His best finish this year was 4th on a couple of occasions. And he's 20th in the championship in this 26. He'd love to go and get a race win. There's no doubt about that. You got Bent on the move. He wants to, that small chance at a championship still alive at the moment for this 27. He wants to go out there and keep it going. He's up to 4th. He got around Oren. And then Steinbach has never won either. You know, he's finished 2nd at Colorado, but otherwise he's had a decent year, but quiet year. And here he is at the moment in the 8th position. And Dawson Miller's cracked the top 10 in the 48. And there is the 71. So he needs to make some ground. He's up to 16th. He's actually up to 15th. He got around Will Parrish last time. So he's closing in on these guys as well. So the 2 contenders in the championship may continue to go at it. As Brandon Bent might be the one on the move. Here he is in the 27, going for the 3rd position underneath of Alexander Rowe.
And you mentioned Ben, a former champion of the series, knows what he's doing, and he led basically the 98, 95, and the 28, I believe, of Julio Cesar, or the 26 rather, of Cesar. He left those 4, along with Ben, up to the top 4. So I think Ben is very strong here, and he might be able to steal this race win. 10 laps to go, this is far from over. I thought Davenport was going to win, or Davis. We might have to watch out for Ben here late in the going.
Oh, Davis, I thought he was going to have a look, but he couldn't quite. But keep an eye on this 27, because he's clearly fast. Oh, no! He's blown up from 3rd position! Brandon Bent, can you believe it?
The commentator's close.
Unreal. That is unbelievable. And look at the gap that Davenport and Davis have now got. That is a terrible shame for the 27. 6th in points coming into this race. And that probably ends his championship hopes. What a shame for Brandon Bent. And that, 668. What a shame for the number 27. And it's a header. I've had a few of those this year. Header problems. And it takes Brandon Bent out of contention, but I'll tell you who it helps. Charlie Davenport and Max Davis. 8 laps to go. The margin 3/10. So Davenport looking for his first win. Davis looking for his second. And they have a big gap back to Rowe, who's now, back up to 3rd as a result. Caesar's up to 4th. And Eli Bright now the highest NS racing car. And don't look now. Dawson Miller is closing in on these guys as well. Same with Watson, Tyson Gifford. That rounds out the top 10. Then Vargas, Denton, Ludovic Charette with a nice run. And there is Guar at the moment. He's now up to 14th, so that's another position for the 71. And in terms of the Dominic Anthony situation, he is 32nd. So that incident really has cost Anthony, and he's going to drop down the order in the points. So you see Watson on the move on the inside. Caesar on the move as well. Maybe the 26 has a chance at this race win. As he just gets around Alexander Rowe. Here comes the 95 of Bright. So these guys now up to 3rd and 4th ahead of Rowe. And they've got a little bit of a gap back here to Oren and Steinbach. But right now, this is where the battle for the win is at the moment. Davenport and Davis coming to 6 to go this time.
Davenport has been so strong, really around the halfway point right before pit stops. And this could be huge for Davenport. Honestly, at this point in the season, he's not in championship contention, most likely, 16th in points. But he's building up for next season if he returns. That's for for sure. But Matt Davis, he's trying to get to the inside here. And it's going to be interesting if these two battle. Will that allow Caesar and Bright and Rowe to close back in? We only have 5 laps to go. But we saw what Bennett was able to do. He was able to lead a handful of cars up to the leaders. So we gotta see what ends up happening. They gotta stop battling, and they stay about the same. So it's looking good for the top 2. I can't go over what happened to Ben, but we were both talking about him, and then he just blew up. Commentators close, but tough wait, and it's Davis and Davenport 1-2.
Tell you what, these guys, I don't know if Caesar and company, I don't know if they're going to get to, I mean, look, they're trying to close. Caesar's now gotten clear of these guys. They're battling hard for 4th and 5th. It's going to be so hard. I reckon it's going to be so hard to get to Davenport. He looks really good. He's able to hold off Davis. It's going to take a lot for the 6, I imagine, to win this race. But 4 laps to go, and the margin's still 2/10 between the top 2. Davis is certainly trying, there's no doubt about that, but he just he just does not have what it takes at the moment to get around Davenport, and this would be a great, great confidence booster for Hairgel Motorsports, a team that has only won once in their history. That was William Brock at Darlington in Season 5, but here they are, leading with 3 laps to go. Charlie Davenport in the 52, and now he's starting to get a little bit of gap here on Davis. That margin, 3/10 across the line. So Caesar 3rd, Bright 4th, Rowe 5th, and I tell you what, Dawson Miller is well and truly on the march. He's up, he's battling Watts at the moment. This is about for the 8th and 9th positions. He is ahead of Gore, but Gore's not doing too badly back there, the 71. So right now, as it stands, it's about a 5-point swing, which for Henry Gore, given where they all started, I don't think it's too bad. Uh-oh, I hope they don't have to pit. Oren made me think he was just about to pit there. I was very worried. But anyways, we'll focus on the win. The battle for the win. 2 laps to go. Charlie Davenport looking for his first career win. But Max Davis all over the back in the number 6.
Max Davis is looking strong, and he realizes that Caesar is closing in. I don't think he's going to get there in time. Davis trying to run a little bit higher. Trying to get clean air on that default number 6. He's going to try and send it, though. He's going to try and deny Davenport of his first win. They're going to be side by side at the start finish line with 1 lap to go here at Auto Club.
Here we go. White flag is in the air. 1 lap to go. Side by side for the lead. Davenport outside. Davis on the inside as they head off into turn 1. Davenport looking for his first career win. Davis a winner a couple of weeks ago at Chicagoland. And how will these guys have an effect on it? Caesar and Bright behind. They can't get to him. Davenport clears on the outside. Number 52 for Charlie Davenport. He's going through turns 3 and 4. He's got a bit of a gap on Davis. I don't think Davis will get there. Charlie Davenport out of turn 4. And for the first time, he's going to go to victory lane. Charlie Davenport wins the Auto Club 400.
How about that first time winner in a battle for the ages at Auto Club Speedway for Davenport and Davis? And you know what? If that happened a couple of laps soonest to it, we would have had a 6-car battle for the win there. But what a race here at Auto Club Speedway. Here's Gratton Motorsports, the first win in a couple of seasons, and Davenport, his first win as a whole in the series. Great win from Davenport and a great race here underneath the lights for the Auto Club 400.
What a race, what a finish. You see the results on your screen. Charlie Davenport, first career win by 2/10 over Max Davis, who had a chance. He got to the inside and he just couldn't quite hang on that inside. And in the end, Davenport wins by 2/10 of a second. Caesar 3rd. That's a season best for him. So very good drive. Eli Bright, Alexander Rowe ends up inside the top 5. Steinbach, Dawson Miller ended up 7th. That's a good day for Dawson Miller. Christian Vargas, Benny Watson, and how about Ludovic Charette finding her way inside the top 10? That's a great result in the top 35 battle that is oh so important at the back end of this season. You see the rest of the results. So Jared Oren ended up 11th. at the end of all that. He led a lot of laps throughout the day, couldn't quite get the result. Henrik Waugh ended up in 13th. So in the end, it's only a 6-point swing, makes it a 36-point gap heading into Indianapolis next week. Look throughout the rest of the field, and some tales of woe up and down this field. Jake Rogers ended up 29th, even though he got involved in that incident. That's actually not too bad, all things considered. But the big loser today was Dominic Anthony. He ended up 32nd after getting involved in that incident with the 40 of Rogers, and that really hurts his chances at the championship. And then, I'll tell you what, the big story of this one was Brandon Bent running third with less than 10 to go. Has a header fail on the number 27, and he finishes plumb last. What a shame for Bent. That's basically ends off his championship hopes, but what a win for Charlie Davenport. Here are the championship standings after 22 races. It is a 36-point gap between Miller and Gore. And then it's a 77-point gap between Miller and Alexander Rowe, who now moves up to third in the points with Dominic Anthony's issues throughout the race. He drops down a position or two, depending on tiebreaks on that one. You would see the tiebreakers. And then Watson, Bright, Oren will move up 2 positions. Max Davis cracks the top 10 once again in the number 6. And then Brandon Bent drops 5 positions as a result of the engine failure. Pretty much takes him out of contention for the championship. Charlie Davenport moves up a few positions as well in the number 52. So you'll see the rest of the standings. Nathan, final thoughts on what was an entertaining race here at Auto Club?
Absolutely. That was a very, very fun race here at the Auto Club Speedway here tonight. And we saw a lot of moves throughout the field, and one surprise one was Charlie Davenport, and he definitely owned this one here tonight. Davis gave him a run for his money here, but who knows what would have happened if Brandon Bent didn't blow a motor and had a header issue. Could he have maybe stole it? We may never know, but another new winner, another great race here in the Gratton Cup Series, and this title fight is going to be very interesting with 8 races to go. With Henrik Waugh only 36 points back, he gained a few points, but he might need to gain a few more if he wants something against Dawson Miller. All 3 out of 4 last racing cars moved up, Brandon Bent moved down. Davenport is almost inside the top 10 with that win, so a lot of shakeups throughout the field, and looking forward to next week, and looking forward to see if who can get this championship in the next 8 races.
Definitely, and we're of course looking forward to next week as we go to your backyard, Indianapolis Motor Speedway, and a track that Henrik Waugh has won at before. Same with Dawson Miller, they've both won the Brickyard 400 Crown Jewel event. That is next week, and that is going to be a lot of fun. Really looking forward to that one. So big thank you to Nathan Stapleton for hopping on and joining me on the call for this one. Congratulations to Charlie Davenport and Angel Alonso on the race win, and we'll see everybody next week at the Brickyard.